Jaume Plensa is an artist from Barcelona whose works, both in galleries and in public settings, center around capturing the human experience. In one interview, he shares a story where, following a lecture, a woman asked him how he could justify encouraging people to interact with his works when a sign next to a public piece read, "Please do not touch." Jaume asked her to read the sign more closely because the full sign actually reads, "Please do not touch, caress." Plensa has shown exhibitions in Europe, the United States, and Asia, and has permanent public installations in Spain, France, Japan, England, Korea, Germany, Canada, and the United States. His public works are what piqued my interest in his art to begin with. I was amazed at these massive and gorgeous portraits in such unexpected settings. He has many pieces that emphasize communication, where he will incorporate letters and symbols from many different languages into the sculpture, or have the sculptors gesturing, either with a finger to their lips or hands over their face. He believes that silence and introspection are also important pieces of communication. In his recent documentary, Can You Hear Me?, he discusses how he feels most inspired by poetry and explains that language and expression of thought are something that we all have in common. Something I found really fascinating in my research is how he captures the models for his sculptures. His subjects will be photographed from nearly every angle, as you can see here, so that his pieces look realistic and accurate from any point of view. In this portion of the documentary, he describes capturing these images and immortalizing them in sculpture like having a message in a bottle. Once that image is taken, that person no longer exists because we are always changing. The message is one of fluidity captured in a static form. While he does work in other mediums, Plensa finds that sculpture is the best medium to express abstract thought. It can express the things that can't be touched, but are always around us. With his public works in particular, he aims to make art accessible to everyone and create spaces where different people can come together. I think this is why so much of his work emphasizes communication. In encountering these public sculptures, people that may have never interacted with each other or with the art now have common ground. One of his most significant public works is the Crown Fountain in Chicago. In this piece, two 50-foot high towers bookend a shallow granite pool. On the sides of the towers that overlook the pool are LED screens that display faces of 1,000 different Chicago residents. Intermittently, water will spout from the towers, which Plensa describes as an interpretation of us as givers of life. When he was a child, he visited a cathedral in Barcelona where he saw gargoyles, quote, "these strange animals with funny faces but spouting water," end quote, which also served as inspiration for this fountain. The way the LED screens face each other evokes the idea that the two people are communicating over the fountain and simultaneously invite people to gather and interact with each other. All of Plensa's public works are meant to be interacted with. He prefers the term art in public spaces over public art to describe these works because when a piece is in a public space, it is owned by nobody and everybody. It becomes part of the community at that point. In one interview, he expresses how important this is for him. He explains that when someone sees art in a public space, especially someone who wouldn't normally visit a gallery, it can transform how they view the world. In nearly all of his exhibition descriptions, Plensa's work is described as finding beauty in simplicity. In one interview, he discusses an idea that exists in the art world that he actually disagrees with. The idea that if something is beautiful and poetic, it's light and it's fluffy. He explains that poetry can be hard and strong, and that, quote, "beauty in art or poetry is hard to define," end quote. He does think that beauty is the soul of art, but that even things that are grotesque can still be beautiful. He talks about the faces displayed at the Crown Fountain, and while they may be scrunched up and twisted, they are still beautiful. Plensa says, quote, "I think everyone has some conception of beauty in the back of their brain, and when you're in front of it, you know it," end quote. I love the overall message of Plensa's works, finding beauty in our day to day, engaging in our communities, and celebrating the human experience. I highly, highly encourage everyone to go look at some of Jaume's exhibitions in addition to his art in public spaces. All of his work can be found on his website, which you can see here in the bibliography. He is still also creating art and currently has an installation on view in Switzerland titled Forgotten Dreams. With everything going on in the world today, it's more important than ever that we follow Jaume's objective and find ways to communicate with each other and to find the beauty in the human experience.